Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. A warm welcome to you personally. Really appreciate you being here and your interest in yoga and what it is that I have to share. I'm very grateful. So, to begin with, this is a class for anyone who has practiced yoga before, hasn't practiced yoga before, but might be interested in my Patreon classes. They're a mixture of Hatha and Yin styles of yoga. Quite gentle, nothing complex for any level. Anyone who comes, they can manage the postures. And one thing I really like to emphasize with yoga, it's not about how deep into a posture we can go, how flexible we are, if we can do interesting or cool looking postures. It has nothing to do with being good at yoga. Yoga is just a practice to help us connect better to ourselves and the world around us, be able to experience life with more ease, more comfort, more joy, more pleasure, more connection with ourselves and everybody else. So throughout the class today and any of the classes that maybe in the future you do with me or with anyone else, if you can hold a posture for the length of time, perfect. If you can't, perfect, no worries. We always work with our body wherever it is at. So that means one day you might come to the mat and you might feel really good and you feel super flexible in a posture that you've done before. You're like, oh, today I'm getting much deeper, I'm making so much progress, this is awesome. 2 days later, you come back, you do the same posture, and those muscles are super tight, and you're like, I can't go as deep in the posture, or what's going on? Like, that's why it's not about the posture, it's about working with our bodies every single day, depending on where they're at. Because the system, it's mental, emotional, physical system, it's changing every day. We're stressed, we eat different things, we move different ways, we exercise, this, that, the other. So we come to the mat and we just do what we can. We do what works for us in the moment. We don't force things, we're not pushing our body too much, we're just working wherever we are. So I like to start each class with some deep breathing, just seated. So I'm going to move over to the mat, put this camera exactly where I want it. I think about there is good. So I've got my mic here. I dust my feet off. Amazing. So sit yourself in a posture that is comfortable for you, any form of cross-legged, and this is something that I suggest if you are going to take some classes or if you are going to join the Patreon, grab a block. To buy one, they're cheap, you can get them in a sports store, any yoga studio, just a block like this. It can be foam, it can be, this is, I don't know, it looks like wood chip, but if you find sitting cross-legged a little bit uncomfortable, you can sit yourself on a block, raise your hips up. That will take a lot of pressure off the groin, off the hips, maybe the lower back as well. If you don't have a block and you need to sit on something, you can take a thick book or even a cushion, can work. And if you don't like sitting cross-legged, you can also sit like so. And if it's strong on your knees or your shins, just put a blanket onto your mat or something soft. Main thing we're going for is a straight back. That's what we're looking for to begin with here. So, getting comfortable however works for you. Sitting up nice and straight. As I said, we're going to begin with some deep breathing. Always breathing through our nose, ideally, in yoga. And the breath, the inhalation begins in the lower part of the abdomen, the belly. So when you inhale, the diaphragm pushes down and the belly will naturally expand. As the belly expands, you're going to feel it move upwards, the ribs are going to expand. Continue breathing into the chest, all the way up to the collarbones, if you can, and then exhaling first from the chest, then the ribs contract slightly and the belly will come back in naturally last. So, checking in with body, sat up nice and straight, closing our eyes and breathing through our nose. I'm going to start breathing in that way. Into the belly, inhaling. Then rib cage, then chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. And the reason I like to start our classes with a little bit of deep breathing, it helps us connect to our body, calm and be present on our mats, calm our minds a little bit, and really get the most out of our practice. And using the breath as a tool to anchor our focus, our attention, our awareness into this moment is a really, really calming and valuable thing. And we try and use our breath throughout our practice. So some awareness just to begin with, to bring us into our body, our breath, calm our minds is a fantastic way to start the class. And any time in your day-to-day life, you can sit a couple minutes and breathe like this. If ever you're feeling stressed or anxious or worried, it can really help to calm you down. Continuing with that deep breathing, and to slow the breath slightly, exhaling as much of the air from our lungs on every breath as we can. And our mind, throughout our practice, throughout our day, throughout our life in general, always will try and stray and take our attention somewhere else. Maybe it's the afternoon and I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to have for dinner? Or maybe the sun comes out and I'm like, maybe I'd like to go to the beach. And I start thinking about this or that or the other, or what have I got to do for work, or what am I doing tomorrow, or I've got to call this person. And it's so easy to just allow the mind to lead us away from our breath, from our practice, from this present moment. I know how easy it is. Everyone experiences it. Everyone. But a practice like this, breathing deeply, taking some time each day, or whenever we have the chance, to just check in with our breath, be present with our body, is something that can be really, really valuable for using and controlling our mind in a more healthy and calm manner. Utilizing the capacity of our lungs with every inhalation and exhalation. Fully inhaling, completely exhaling. We'll be here for another 60 or 90 seconds. To make the most of this time, just connecting with that movement that's happening in the belly, then the ribs, then the chest, and on the exhale, letting the air out of the chest, then the rib cage, and then the belly. one or two more really deep, really full breaths after your next exhalation. Make them as slow, as comfortably possible. And I know that it might have felt strange to breathe into particular areas of maybe your belly or your rib cage or your chest. And if that's the case, that's completely normal. Over time and just using this method of breathing a little bit more, you'll become more familiar, more comfortable with it. But it's a great thing to use for working with our nervous system, particularly our vagus nerve, which is very much related to the parasympathetic nervous system, and also when it's overstimulated, our fight and flight response, which is ideally not where we want to be unless we have an emergency to attend to. So this form of breathing can really help with our nervous system, the way we approach life, but also our digestion as well, as the vagus nerve is very connected to or involved with the process of digestion. So again, checking in with the body, we still sat up nice and straight. I'm going to take a few rotations of the head in either direction, nice and slowly, being very gentle. Just paying attention to those particular areas of the neck or shoulders that are tighter. For me, it's the right side of my neck. I feel a little bit tighter. And we'll change direction. And that can change from day to day, week to week, month to month. It's nice to just get a bit more familiar with your body whenever you can, a couple times a week, to check in and really spend some time experiencing your own inner space. Fantastic. We'll come to our first posture, which is going to be a forward bend. We're going to have our legs in front of us, like so. To begin with, pressing our hands into the floor behind us, lifting ourselves so our spine is nice and straight, so pressing into our palms, pressing into our fingers, flexing, active in the feet, in the toes, engaging the muscles in the thigh and the muscles in the core, and just taking some deep breaths here whilst pressing into the hands, drawing the shoulder blades together behind the back. Good. We take a slight bend in the knees. I hope you can see that. Now here, my knees are slightly bent. We're going to have our hands either on our thighs or on our shins. If you're super flexible, maybe you can take hold of your toes. But what I'm looking for here, or what we're looking for, is a straight back. So, coming forward just as far as we can keep our back straight, and using the muscles in the core to engage this area of our body to keep us lifting in this direction. We're not just coming forward and rounding our back. It's straight spine. And you can use your hands maybe on your shins or your thighs to bring you a little bit closer and rock you back and forth. Looking to use those muscles in the core to really lift us diagonally forward. This creates a lot of space in the lower back. You'll probably feel a stretch in your hamstrings as well. So a couple deep breaths here. to do now is take our right heel into our groin, like this. So in the front, we'll be looking like so. Taking the heel into the groin. I'm going to reach forward, again similar to as we just were, trying to keep a relatively straight back. Take a couple of breaths here, active in the left thigh, active in the left foot. Deep breaths. Awesome. Now taking hold of either the shin or the foot, what we're going to do is reach the right hand up and stretch the right side of the body. So creating more space between each rib on the right side of the rib cage, more space between the ribs and hip. Trying to keep both sitting bones on the floor, really reaching with our arm as well, active in the shoulder and the muscles of the arm, looking towards the bicep or the sky. Deep breaths here. Still active in that left foot, left thigh. Amazing. We'll come out. Moving to the other side in your own time. I'm just switching sides so you can see me better. Now, left heel comes in to the groin. And again, taking both hands either to the thigh or the shin, trying to keep a relatively straight back. And just gently coming forwards. Nothing too strong. Amazing. Now again, taking hold of either the shin or the right foot, right big toe, whatever works for you, and reaching that left arm, left hand up, actively reaching away from the body, creating a good stretch all the way from the hip up to the fingers. Breathe into this left side of the rib cage. Expand it fully. Looking up towards the bicep or the sky. Deep, full breaths. Amazing, and we'll come out. Good. The next posture we're going to do, we'll come to lie on our mats. Going to bring our heels fairly close to our bum. And what we'll do is we're only going to lift our hips up like this. And if we can press our thumbs or even our palms, the base of the palm, into the bum, into the lower back, into the hips, and support them, lift them up. Engaging the muscles in the bum, in the core, pressing the chin towards the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together and pressing in to the triceps and the elbows. And in this position, you can take a couple of deep breaths in a position where your belly has a lot of room to expand.
1 or 2 more breaths here. Squeeze the bum, press and lift the hips, and come down. Now grabbing hold of our knees, our shins, squeezing ourselves into a ball, pulling the knees towards our chest, activating the muscles into a core and pulling ourselves into a ball as tight as we can. Amazing.
So, the next posture we're going to take, some people might find a block helpful here. We're going to take our legs nice and wide, like so. And again, pressing into our hands behind us, lifting our body up, drawing the shoulders back, engaging the muscles in the core, and really trying to create space between the groin here and the abdomen. So lifting up. You see this movement again, like so. Widening the legs as much as we can and pressing into the hands. If this is difficult for you, grab yourself a block and sit yourself up on there if it's not feeling comfortable, and instead work from the block. A couple of really deep full breaths in this position. Working at your edge on this one. I know it's an uncomfortable posture. We're not going to be here very long. Just 3 really deep full breaths. Great. We'll come out. Take a moment. If it's feeling interesting in the body, it's feeling intense, you can massage that area that we were just working with. A lot of blood flow, lymph flow in this particular area. I'm moving through this part of the body, so it can feel intense when we work on it, when we stretch it. And next, bringing our heels into our groin again. So I'll show you from the side. Like this. Sat up nice and straight if possible. And if this is too strong, again, take a book or take a block and have a go like this. What we're going to be doing is gently bouncing our knees up and down like so, with a straight back. Just opening the hips, holding our feet together so that they're not separating. Big toes should be touching each other. Couple more breaths here, just gently bouncing. Awesome. Now, we're going to take our feet about this distance apart from our bum. We'll adjust once we get into the posture. And what we're going to do, we're going to come up to a tabletop position. Our fingers are pointing towards our feet. We're going to lift our hips again and come up so that our hands or our wrists are directly below our shoulders and our knees are directly above our ankles. So squeezing the muscles in the bum, really engaging the muscles there, and the legs, and the abs.
Deep breaths here. Pressing into the hands. You can look forward or you can look up, whatever is most comfortable for you. Few breaths here. Good. We'll come down.
Take a moment just to feel your body, move your wrists a little bit. Take any movement in the shoulders, in the arms that you feel is necessary.
We're going to come onto our knees. In this posture, we're looking to keep our hips directly above our knees. We don't want to be coming back too far like this. And what we'll do is pressing our fingers into or around those hip bones in the lower back. The palms will be pressing into the bum or the inside of the knuckles, that area. Drawing our elbows towards each other. Obviously they're not going to touch. Drawing our shoulder blades together. Pressing into the fingers, into the hands. We're going to go into a gentle back bend here. But the idea is lifting the chest upwards, not coming backwards. But the feeling is back bend, but the chest is lifting towards the sky. So think that you had tied maybe a piece of string tied to your sternum or your breastbone right here, and it's being lifted upwards. So inhale, come back, engage the muscles of the bum and the muscles of the core to keep that area stable. Shoulders, back, shoulder blades together, elbows coming closer together. Couple of deep breaths here. Engaging those muscles in the bum, in the back, in the core.
Amazing. Coming out, coming down into child's pose for a moment. Taking a few breaths here to decompress the back. This means that hands coming either side of the feet, shoulders relaxed, we press our forehead into the mat, big toes are touching.
Breathing really deeply here. And you breathe into the belly and you feel that you're pressing against the lower part of the back, and this is creating more space between each vertebrae in the lower back. We're going to now take our knees
To the outside of the mat, just like this, so widening them. Like so. And what we're doing next, this gap that we've created here, we're going to bring our belly forward into it, reaching the left hand forward and the right hand through, like so. I'll show you from the side. So knees around mat width apart. You find which area or which kind of width works for you. Making the left hand forward and the right arm, right hand comes through that space there, just in front of the left knee.
And we want the right hand to be roughly in line with the right shoulder as well. And here, you're going to feel a stretch in the right shoulder head, in the right shoulder blade, the upper back, maybe the mid-back as well, and very, very possibly in the groin and the hips too. We're looking towards that right hand. Again, breathing deeply here. This is a posture where we can really get that deep breath. First belly, then ribs, and then all the way up into the chest on the inhale. Exhale from chest, ribs, and belly. Deep breathing. And one of the reasons, or one of the physical benefits of doing postures is that it helps to align our joints, our tendons, and our ligaments. This means that the biomechanics, which is the way that our body moves and operates, will be functioning more effectively, more efficiently. Because if our joints, our tendons, our ligaments, if they're not in the correct place or they're too tight, what it can do is it starts to pull or bring other areas of the body out of their place also. And so just working with our body, understanding it, removing tension, keeping things in the right place just by doing some stretching can really help our longevity, the amount of time in our life that we can use our body for and really enjoy it. That's a huge part of why I practice yoga, is so that I can continue enjoying my body, because I really appreciate it and I want it to stay healthy. I want to be active throughout my life, and this is a practice that can really help with that. One or two more deep breaths here. And we'll bring our left palm next to our right elbow, push ourselves back up, and then switch sides. I'm going to spin around so you can see me better. You can stay where you are. So, this time right hand, right arm coming forward, reaching that left hand through the gap there. Left hand, left wrist roughly in line with the left shoulder. You'll start to feel that stretch in the left shoulder, shoulder blade, back. Breathing deeply, we can. I know that this might be strong posture for some people. You might feel it intense, uncomfortable, even slightly painful. But almost always, this is not a bad kind of pain. It's muscular pain, it's tension that we're holding on to, which isn't pleasant to release. But upon release, upon coming out of a posture or finishing a yoga class, you'll notice how different your body feels and also how your mind feels. Doing difficult postures and working through things that are not necessarily easy
helps us in other areas of our life as well, to be able to manage difficult situations, uncomfortable experiences, and be able to stay calm and composed in those situations. So being here in a posture that you find uncomfortable in a controlled environment can help you to be better in situations where maybe you don't have control. Those deep breaths, continue them. Belly on the inhale, then ribs, then chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. And I know it might feel unfamiliar to breathe like this. It might feel strange or weird, or maybe you feel like I don't know, I can't breathe in that area of my body. But the more you pay attention to it and bring awareness to that type of breathing, the more you'll familiarize yourself with it, and the easier it will become. A few more deep breaths here. Good, and we'll come out, press the right palm into the floor,
Coming up. You want to bring your knees together, you can. Shake out the arms, maybe moving the shoulders. Whatever feels right. Taking a bit of movement in the neck. Just checking in with your body. How does it want to move? And going with that. Maybe you want to be still. So perfectly okay. And we'll move into our next posture. We're going to bring our knees roughly below our bum. There's room for forward a bit, backward a bit on this posture. It doesn't really matter too much. What we're going to do is bring our elbows to the floor, to the mat, our palms together. Our middle finger is going to come behind our head and touch our spine. And we're going to be putting our weight into our elbows, into our triceps, and creating a stretch in the triceps, under the shoulder, in the latissimus muscles, and the upper back, like so. Maybe I'll show you from the front as well. You can see a bit more clearly. I'm not sure. Like this. This is how it's going to look. Here we go. So, palms together. Really feeling that stretch. Most likely under the arms, in the triceps, in the upper back, in the sides of the upper back as well. This is another position where we have good opportunity to take really deep, full breaths. We're going to be here for around a minute or so, a minute and 15 maybe. And one of the reasons why breathing deeply, or why I emphasize it so much, is because in our lungs we have these little bags called alveoli. And if we were to spread these little bags or sacs, we were to take them apart, take the lungs apart completely and spread them out on the floor, they would spread across
1/3 of a tennis court, which is a large area. So inside of our lungs, we have the capacity to interact with the air the size of 1/3 of a tennis court. So that's a huge opportunity we have to be breathing air and maximizing the amount of oxygen that we can get into our body. And when we breathe, we're not just inhaling and getting oxygen, we're also exhaling. So a really interesting thing about our lungs is we detoxify a lot of the waste from the body through our lungs. So if we take fat, for example, let's say somebody who is trying to lose weight and they're losing weight, those fat cells, 86% of the weight of the fat that anyone loses is breathed out as gases from your lungs. So there's a chemical process happens in the liver, and they're broken down, and you get some of the molecules, a large percentage of the molecules are coming out as gas from your lungs, which is a fascinating thing. And that's why I really emphasize these deep, full breaths to maximize the potential that we have for both getting and receiving oxygen and taking it to our tissues, our organs, our brain, but also for exhaling and removing that from our body which isn't serving us or it no longer wants. So one more really deep, full breath here with that in mind. Good. We'll come up. And again, shaking out our arms, taking any movement that we feel is necessary. You want to move your neck, your head, shoulders, arms, whatever. You do what your body asks for. And the next posture we're going to come to, we're going to be seated in a similar position to we were before, with our knees not quite as wide. Although, if having them that wide feels better for you, you're welcome to have them like that. That's a huge part of this practice, particularly the Yin Yoga side of this practice, is that everybody's body is a little bit different. So every posture, maybe you need to adjust for how your hip joint is, or how your shoulders are, or the tendons in this or that area of your body. So always listen to what your body asks for as well. Now, have our knees separated a little bit. Our heels are just outside of our bum, but our big toes are roughly together. We're going to bring our weight into our palms to begin with. And if this feels good, this feels like enough of a stretch in the front of the legs or the front of the body for you, then good. But if you want to, and you can, without feeling too much pressure in your knees or any other part of your body, is coming down like so. And these are the different variations of the posture that we can have. And if this is feeling a bit much on your neck, you can take a block and rest your head like so. Still pressing into the elbows a little bit. And if it's not quite high enough, take a cushion, take something, get creative, build a little structure to support your head if it's feeling too much for your neck. And if you're really flexible in the front of the legs, and as I said, please, if it's too much, if it's painful in the knees, don't come down. But I like to give the option for those who have it to come and lie on your back. But if you're feeling a lot in your thighs or in your knees, then please don't take the posture like this. If you come and you start practicing more regularly, then you'll make it to this place over time. But we really, really don't want to do or cause any injuries to our body. So, I'm going to take some breaths here.
maybe 45 seconds or a minute or so more. We're moving into a style of yoga which is Yin Yoga now, which is holding postures for more time. So also the posture where we were stretching our shoulder, that was more so Yin Yoga, but the first postures that we did in the class, that was more Hatha Yoga. These classes, they're a blend of both, depending on the day, depending on my mood, like all sorts of postures we use, but from these two styles of yoga, we keep it simple, gentle, effective, good for the body, good for the mind. Again, utilizing all the space we have to breathe into our belly in this position. Couple more breaths here. And we'll come up. So, bring yourself out of this posture. Take a moment just to relax and lie down. You have your knees bent or straight, however you like. Just feel your body experience that stretch that you just had. A few more deep breaths. Good. We come back up to seated. We're going to bring our feet together, like so. A little bit of a diamond shape going on here. So the feet are further away than they were earlier. The other stretch where we were also opening a similar part of the body. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly, walking back and forwards on our sitting bones, like so. As you can see, now I'm coming forwards, I'm stepping, I say stepping, on either side of the bum, coming forwards, so now my hips are moving closer to my heels, and again I come back. To do this for a couple of times, just getting familiar with this movement, how it feels in the hip joint, in the muscles of the legs, the lower back, the spine. And coming back once more. And somewhere between all the way back and all the way forward, we're going to find a space in the middle. So taking little steps, little, and finding a place where you feel that your hips and your knees are in the right space, right area, to relax forward and round your back. And this is very personal for you, or to you, sorry. So one day, it might be like this, one day there might be a bigger gap, one day there might be a smaller gap, but always just working with what your body asks for. And if you can calm all the way down, great, perfect. If just working like this is enough for today, also perfect. If coming down onto your forearms, resting like this, whatever works for you. And if you can fully relax the body, relax the neck, the head, perfect. And again, if you are feeling any tension in your neck when you're relaxing like this, then you put a block and you rest your head on your block. And if the block is enough, you take a cushion, you take whatever you want. You take a jumper, a shoe, like, it doesn't matter. Just make yourself comfortable. So, resting, relaxing completely here. We're not looking for muscular engagement at all. The thing about these yin postures
is that what we're doing is we're working with the fascia. And this means that we go into postures where we're not engaging our muscles to create the stretch. We're using our own body weight and gravity to create a stretch in muscles or tendons or ligaments. And by doing so, after about 2 minutes of staying still in a posture, 1 minute 45, something like that, staying quite still, then the fascia really starts to relax and release. And this fascia is a tissue, it's a type of tissue that runs through the entire body. It runs big toe all the way to the top of your head, covers, envelopes all of your muscles, goes inside, outside, all of your organs, your bones, your tendons. It literally goes through and inside of your bones. This is this tissue which runs through your entire body, the fascia. And by doing postures like this and holds like this, really getting into this relaxed state, we allow this type of tissue to relax, to regenerate, to detoxify. And it's a huge, huge help to the function of the body. Puts us into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system which is responsible for healing, resting, regeneration, digestion. And also working with the fascia is important for the health of our lymphatic system. It's putting pressure on particular areas of the lymphatic system that might not get squeezed or pressed in our day-to-day life, because honestly, it's a pretty weird posture we're in. Like, it's not really a daily thing where you're just kind of sitting around on your bed and you say, okay, I'm going to lie down a bit weird like. So it's a really interesting system of movements and stretching that works with the body in a very unique way. And as you can see, we're opening parts of the body which we might not do in our day-to-day life. It's huge for our nervous system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic health, so for our digestive health. I've been talking, and I hope that you're enjoying the class. Maybe this posture right this moment you're not enjoying. I understand that, but trust me, these postures, they bring a lot of benefit to your mind, to your body, to your health. So hang in there. Not got too much left, not too much longer in this posture now. But really utilizing our breathing here, especially if you're finding it intense. Focus on your breath. Inhaling belly, then ribs, then chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Complete exhalation, getting as much of the air out of our lungs as we can. Two more deep breaths if you can manage. If you've already come out the posture or you need to come out, not a problem at all. If after the class you realize like, oh, actually I felt quite good, I feel quite good now, then this is come join me for more stretching. Over time you're gonna increase the amount of time you can hold. The benefits from this type of yoga practice have changed my life profoundly, and that's really why I want to share it with you, because And one of the most powerful things, particularly for my mind and the way that it helps me experience life.
So coming up super gently, pressing into our hands. Ooh. How do you feel? What's going on? Take a moment to lie down. You can bend your knees or you can have your legs straight, whatever feels best for you. And feel and experience what's happening in your lower back, in your groin, in your legs. Maybe you're feeling some sensations in your toes, in your feet, in your lower back. Just tuning in and experiencing what's happening in the body. And I'm sure now is a much more pleasurable experience than being in the posture. And that's what this practice is all about. It's not always sunshine and rainbow and beautiful things in the practice. It's usually that the practice is often the difficult part, and the benefit, the real enjoyment, and what we get from it, we take it into our daily lives for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. So I know that doing a posture like that is not easy, but I guarantee you it brings benefit to your body and your mind. So roll yourself, whenever you're ready, onto your front. And bring our big toes together, and they're going to fall out to the side, so they're relaxed. We don't need to have our heels together. Just big toes together and heels are relaxed. Now, we're bringing our elbows underneath our shoulders, like so. We're pressing into the elbows, raising up out of the shoulders. We don't want to be down like this. We want to press ourselves up, pressing into the elbows, into the forearms, creating a nice back bend here. Now breathing deeply into the belly, into the ribs, and into the chest. And I know how easy it is for the mind to be distracted, to start thinking about this, or thinking, oh, I hate this posture, or this is a stupid posture. Like, I know, I still think things like that. Or other stuff, maybe I hear some bird over there, I'm like, oh, sounds like an interesting bird, I wonder what it looks like, or anything. There's all sorts that the mind wants to take us off on this journey, or that journey, this thought, that experience. But really, while we're here on the mat, we do our best to keep our mind focused on body, on breath. I didn't mention looking forwards or looking down, whatever feels right for you. Some people look up. I have never enjoyed doing this, and it's not something I recommend, but looking forward or resting your head down, whatever you feel. For me, I tend to find looking forward works best. Another 40 seconds or so here.
Deep breaths. Just about ready to come down. Coming down, what you're going to do is take your elbows out to either side, bring your head down onto your hands, which you can make a little pillow. And just take a moment here, you can rock your bum from side to side. Feel what's going on in your lower back. Take a couple deep breaths here. Fantastic. In your own time, rolling yourself onto your back again. Now this is going to be our last posture. So, do your best to enjoy it. We're going to take our right leg out to the right side of our body, and our left foot is going to sit on top of our right like this. Then we're going to take our right hand out to the right side of our body as well, and our left hand comes to meet it. You're going to grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. So grabbing left wrist with your right hand. We're making a banana or kind of half moon shape here, and I'll show you how that looks from this direction as well. So right leg coming out to the right side of the body, left going on top of it, left arm, right arm doing the same thing, taking hold of the left wrist with the right hand, creating that banana or half moon shape. And you're going to feel a stretch in the outside of the left hip, most likely, the rib cage, under the arm, all of that area. Making your banana as bent as necessary to get the stretch that you feel is right for you. I'm going to spend about 75 seconds to 90 seconds here. Again, working with our breath nice and deep. Deep, deep breaths. And adjusting your posture if you need to. Maybe coming out a little bit if it's too strong, or going deeper if you feel like you want to stretch a particular area. Adjusting those hands or those feet if you feel it's necessary. Or if you've got the perfect position, you stay where you are. And keep working with your breath. Slow, deep breathing. This is our last posture. So make the most of this time working with your body, with your mind, to get the most benefit you can once you step off the mat.
few more deep breaths here before we move on to the other side. Good. When we come out, remove the left foot from the right leg and take a moment. Pay attention. Do you feel a difference between the left side and the right side of your body now? Before moving on to work on the right. Now taking that left foot out to the left side, right foot comes over the left. Again, making that banana shape, taking hold this time of the right wrist with the left hand. So left hand grabs onto the right wrist and we make that banana. You'll feel a good stretch in the right side of your body now. And just notice where you feel it. I feel it most in my right hip. Feel it a bit under my right arm, on the outside of my rib cage on the right side as well. Mostly I feel it in my right hip. And we're all different. Some of you feel it there predominantly, someone feels it under their arm or in their tricep or rib cage mostly. It all depends on your body, and one is not right, one is not good, one is not bad. It's just different. Our anatomies are different. The way we've used our bodies in our life is different. The tension that we hold on a day-to-day basis is different. Only that. So now continuing that deep breathing. Almost there. You guys have done well. A good practice. Stretched a lot of different areas of the body. Worked with our breath. Using our minds to stay focused and move through different postures which I know are not easy or comfortable. So I really appreciate your time and your energy here. Take these last moments in this posture to really breathe deeply and fully. Last few breaths here.
release the hands, release the leg. Before doing anything else, just take a moment, and wherever your body falls, just relax and appreciate the sensations that you're feeling right now. And last of all, we take Shavasana, which is a posture where we just lie on our backs and relax. It means, the translation, literal translation, is corpse pose, so dead body pose. And you're imitating a dead body. You're lying down, doing nothing. That is the aim in this posture. So, we take our feet roughly or a little wider than hip distance apart, whatever feels right for you. Put yourself in that position. Take our hands out to either side, palms facing up, getting our shoulder blades kind of flat to the floor so that we feel comfortable. And if you're not feeling comfortable in your lower back, what I suggest is taking some cushions or some clothes, anything soft, and put them just under your knees or the lower part of your hamstrings, just to raise your knees so that they're slightly bent, and that will take out any pressure from the lower back when you're lying in this position. Now, as we're here, we close our eyes, we give our body full permission to relax. So it's fully supported by the floor beneath us. We'll do a little check, a little scan. We'll start with our big toe. So taking your attention to your big toe. Telling your body, telling this area, specifically your big toe, to relax. You can tell the rest of your toes, them permission, your feet, let them relax. Your ankles, your attention to the ankles, relax. Into the calf muscles and the shins, allowing them to fully relax. The knees relaxed and supported by your mat, by the ground. Muscles in the legs, the thighs and hamstrings, relaxing into the floor, not holding you or having any tension in any of these areas. Muscles of the bum relaxed, the belly relaxed, lower back relaxing, chest, rib cage relaxing, upper back fully supported by the ground, relaxing our shoulders, any tension in the shoulders dissolving, the arms, biceps, triceps relaxing down, elbows, forearms, hands relaxing onto the floor. Your neck is relaxed, your face, the muscles of the jaw, the tongue, the eyes, ears, everything relaxing. Now just enjoy this experience that you've created of relaxation through this practice. Trying to forget about anything else that's going on in the world except relaxation. Forgetting you have a body, you have a name, that you live on earth. Forgetting it all. Just relaxing.
if you feel ready, you can start to move your fingers or your toes. If you would like to continue relaxing, stay in Shavasana, please feel free to do so. Enjoy the experience that you've created in your body. Just keep on relaxing. But if you feel that you're ready, like I said, you can give your fingers and toes a little wiggle, bringing them back to life. Maybe slightly moving the hands or the feet, just waking them up. Turn the head from one side very slowly and gently to the other side. Maybe gently shifting the hips just 1 or 2 inches, wiggling them from side to side slowly. Moving the arms and the shoulders, maybe the legs just slightly. Coming back to all these parts of your body. And in your own time, only if you'd like to, you can bend your knees, swing them over to one side, roll onto that side, press yourself up and come to seated. So that's our class for today. Huge thank you for being here. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Whether or not you could stay in the posture for the whole time or you couldn't, it doesn't matter. It's not important. The important thing is you came onto your mat and you did something for yourself. You did some yoga practice, you helped your mind, you helped your body. That's what it's all about. Doing things for ourselves, which are good for us. So, that being said, once again, huge thank you. Really appreciate you being here. And if you're interested in doing some more practice, checking out the Patreon, there are 2 more classes being uploaded every week. And as of this moment, there are 30 classes on there already. So as soon as you join, you have access to 30 classes with 2 more being uploaded every week. And if that's of interest to you, amazing. There's also a Q&A that I do every month. So as soon as I get enough questions for another Q&A, I make a question and answer video. So yeah, we also have a Telegram group. If you want to come and be a part of the Patreon, I would love to have you. It would be a pleasure to stretch together again. And I will leave the link in the description of this video. That is everything. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you over on Patreon.